I began in public television in 1973, and all through those years we've had the opportunity to see many outstanding biographies about many outstanding people. And tonight I am particularly proud to be a part of public television and making this program about this incredible human being possible for Western New York and Southern Ontario. But I'm only one small cog in the wheel, folks, as program director here. Really, the people to thank are each and every individual who is a member of this public television station, because of their foresight in understanding their role in public television through their support. They are the people who made tonight's broadcast truly possible here in West New York and Southern Ontario. I know that you couldn't watch this 2-hour presentation without being totally touched by this incredible story about a woman who had a vision, who suffered probably more than most any other person in the United States has ever suffered, and who gave so much to make all of our lives better. She gave because she believed. Well, what we're asking you to do tonight is to go to your phone and dial 845-2200 or 1-800-727-1017 and become the newest member of your public television station, the public television station that brought you this program tonight in a bit of an experiment, because we didn't break into the program to bring you a membership opportunity. No, we started before the program began with a membership message, and now we are here tonight at the conclusion of the program to say, won't you give us a call and become the newest member? And when you do, we have some thank you gifts for you. At the $150 level, we have the home video of the program that you just watched tonight. Or at the $240 level, we have both the home video for the program that you just finished watching, Jackie Behind the Myth, and that wonderful documentary that we showed you of the Kennedys yesterday. And obviously the Kennedys and Jackie are so interlinked with each other. Whether your pledge is a $40 membership, $150, $240, even $1,000 membership, now is the time to step to the plate and show you care about this kind of quality. Eileen?
Thank you, Ron. And what can you say about this program? An incredible look at the life of an extraordinary woman, and she had so much packed into her life. She probably did experience more highs and lows than any of us will ever experience, and yet even though she was a celebrity on the world stage, we still, on a very personal level, felt the pain that she went through in her life, the death of her husband, of course, and Bobby, and so on. And yet she had the spirit to go on and accomplish many things. I learned a lot tonight, and I hope you did too. And I'm sure that you were touched by this program as Ron and I were. We were just glued to the set in the green room. And now we're hoping that you will agree that this was a very dynamic program and worthy of your viewing by telling us that you would like to also become a member of public television and help us to continue to bring you this kind of quality. The phones are beginning to light up. It's wonderful. We're hoping to welcome at least 130 new members to WNED right now. It would be wonderful if we could hear from you this evening. This certainly was not your run-of-the-mill program. This was a program that was exceptional. I've been looking forward to this for quite a long time and heard that the documentary was really wonderful, and it really did meet our expectations. And again, I hope that you'll agree by going to your telephone now and making a pledge of support. As Ron said, if you would like to have your very own personal video copy of this program, we do have it available as a thank you gift at the $150 pledge level. You can use a charge card tonight. You can pay in installments. You can do it however is easiest for you. The program itself, again, is at $150. We also have another 2-video set on the whole Kennedy family, or if you would like the entire package, that's available as a thank you gift at the $240 level. Please go to your telephone right now and help us to reach our goal, but more importantly, help support this kind of program. Please call now.
Caroline and John Jr. were the youngest children to live in the White House in the 20th century. And the president, like his father before him, fed the press irresistible photographs of his family.
We're showing you some clips tonight because we don't expect you to remember, or maybe you weren't with us yesterday afternoon when we showed you the Kennedys. We're talking about the thank you gift of the home video of the Kennedys as well as Jackie Behind the Myth tonight. So we'll be showing clips as we go through this particular membership break. Now, one thing I want to say is that the phones are all busy, folks. Now, we will be here for as long as the phones are busy, and you're going to want to stay tuned because at 10:30 we have another very, very special program. Again, we have a program that is different in a way. This is not a puff piece because what we're going to talk about is the legacy of John Fitzgerald Kennedy from a perspective that is very, very different because we're so caught up now, 30 plus years after his death, in thinking about the Cuban Missile Crisis and his death, and not a whole lot else. But this program goes back and delves into what the true legacy, all of the things that were set in place, things that were touched on in Jackie Beyond the Myth. But after all, this was a program about Jackie, so they were touched upon. Well, the next program at 10:30, and it's a half-hour program goes through and explains a lot of those things where John actually set things in motion. So you're going to want to stay tuned and watch that particular program. But we're going to be here, and if you're getting a busy signal, please wait about 60 seconds, give us a call back again, because it only takes about 90 seconds to become the newest member of WNED. You know, it's one thing to be able to bring a program like this to you tonight, and we can feel very, very proud about that. It's another thing to have a response like this from people who are saying, yes, this was a wonderful experience tonight to be able to enjoy this program, and it was a wonderful experience to be able to enjoy it without interruptions. And truly, believe me, folks, when I say we don't enjoy interrupting our programs. No, we don't enjoy that at all. But we have the reality of the business to be able to pay for the programs that you see here on WNED. And interrupting them sometimes is the way we have to do it. But with your support tonight, when you go to the phone and dial 845-2200 or 1-800-727-1017, you're sending a strong message, and maybe we will do more of this kind of a thing in the future. So do your part and support the public television service that you use. Eileen?
Ron, I've got to tell you, this is just incredible. The phones just started to light up here in the studios of WNED. If you did have trouble getting through, please try again. 1 or 2 lines are open right now, but it's wonderful to see such an outpouring of support around this program this evening. And I also hope you appreciated the fact that we did not want to come to you with another membership opportunity in the middle of the program. We wanted to also respect the wishes of the Kennedy family and not interrupt the program at all. So this is something different. This is an experiment for us tonight as well. So if you appreciated that fact that you were able to watch it all the way through without interruption, as well as enjoying the program, let us know by calling us right now, please, and becoming a member of WNED. We're hearing from people all over Western New York and Southern Ontario. Mary called from Toronto, Leah calling in from Burlington, Ontario, Jan calling in from Mississauga. We also heard from Colleen calling in from Toronto, Joan calling in from Warsaw, New York, Barbara calling in from Fergus, Ontario, Ano calling in from Brampton. People calling and saying what a marvelous tribute to a truly extraordinary individual. And I think tonight's program really looked behind the headlines. You know how you saw Jackie's picture on all the tabloids and the magazines and a lot of sensationalism about her life. But here we really saw what this woman stood for, how she was willing to give of herself. Even when she was officially out of the public eye, she still came forward and stood for culture and for having respect for history, and she took on many causes as well. Here was a woman who lived through more tragedies than most of us perhaps will, but carried herself with grace and dignity and won respect around the world. What a fitting tribute to this remarkable woman, and I'm sure you were touched by some of those early photographs as well of the Kennedy children, and of course getting a little moved at the end, of course, when we saw John Kennedy. At least she didn't live to see his demise, of course, but what a beautiful program. Please call us now. There are some lines open. Remember, we have the video available as well. Call us with your support right now.
When the war was over, Jack was not sure what he wanted to do. He toyed with journalism. But his father, slowly stirring from his grief, began to urge a more ambitious course.
The conventional view is that after Joe Jr. died, Joe Sr. immediately turned to Jack and said, okay, you're now going to be the first Catholic president of the United States. The process was so much more subtle and complicated than that. He saw the depression that his father was suffering. He wanted to reach out and help, but he didn't know how. There was no way he thought he could be what Joe Jr. had been to his father.
Joe Jr. had hoped to run for office in 1946. Now Jack would take Joe's place and run for his grandfather's old seat in Congress.
This pasty-looking faced kid, he didn't look like any more like a Boston politician that was going to go to Congress than the man on the moon, to be perfectly truthful. And I just smiled and laughed because I didn't think John Kennedy had any chance in the early stages of the campaign.
Well, again, a little piece from the Kennedys, the American Experience presentation that we broadcast yesterday to kind of fill you in on what we're talking about with the thank you gifts that we have tonight, because let's face it, Jackie Bouvier is so literally linked with the Kennedy families, and what a great time it was, a time we called Camelot. And wow. You saw the program tonight, and if you tried to call in with your membership pledge and got a busy signal, well, that's very understandable because many people are feeling just exactly like you. But as I look around, we have about 4 phones vacant right now that they just hung up. So if you got that busy signal, now is the time to go to your phone and dial 845-2200. Or if you're outside the local calling area, 1-800-727-1017, and show your support for the public television station that had the good sense to broadcast Jackie Behind the Myth tonight. You know, a little inside, this is part of the National Program Service from PBS, and this program was put into the schedule. This is not considered a pledge program, a membership program. And when it was put into the schedule, the program directors across the country had the choice, because virtually everybody in the United States begins their winter campaigns on Thanksgiving weekend. Literally, just about everybody. And we had the opportunity to either broadcast this program tonight or not. Hold it until some other point in the future when we could find a place for it in the schedule. But I decided that this was a program that was of value because of the time of the broadcast, so closely linked with the assassination of JFK, that we should put this program in the schedule. And then after we talked with the producers about the program and so on, and the request of the Kennedy family that we not break it, we could very easily have pulled this program from the schedule so that you would not have been able to see it tonight. But we decided not to. Instead, we decided to try a little experiment, and that was to ask for your membership support before the program started, and then not break the program, air the entire 2 hours of it, and then come back to you at the end like we're doing tonight and asking for your membership support. A little bit of an experiment to see if this kind of thing can work, and we're glad to report that it is doing very well. But we have a number of places to go yet, or a number of people to get. In fact, Eileen is going to be with us right now and give us a little update on our number. Eileen, do we have an update on the number yet?
Well, Ron, I tell you, these calls are coming in so fast and furious, but I would say our goal, which is 130, is probably about the 50 mark right now. We're going to be taking another look at that in just a minute, but I would say it's safe to say we have at least about 50 calls in right now, and it's very, very interesting, Ron. Of course, Jackie Kennedy was always looked upon as an American icon, but she truly was loved and respected around the world, and tonight's pledges are certainly reflecting that as well. We have so many calls also from our friends in Canada. A lot of people calling in from Southern Ontario. We heard from Irmgard calling in from Toronto, and Chris from Kitchener, Anne-Marie calling in from North York, Ontario. We have a call here from Midland, Ontario. Lucy calling in from Brampton, Ontario. Mary from Ancaster, Ontario. It's just wonderful, Ron, the number of calls that we have been getting from folks all over this area. Lyle in Toronto, Betty in Toronto, Cheryl, here's one in Buffalo, Thomas in Lockport. People all over this area responding to this program tonight. I tell you, Ron and I were just glued to the set. Usually we run around, we get snacks and things, but this was a program that really touched us. And again, we were able to take a very intimate look at Jackie, as the program said, behind the myth and behind the tabloids, and see some very rare footage that has never been released to the media before. It was only made available to public television because the Kennedy family knew that that it would be treated in a very sensitive manner. And so we were able to get a real behind-the-scenes glimpse at this incredible woman. I know that you were moved by this program and that you enjoyed it. And this is how good public television can be, and it is because of membership support. So please, go to your telephone right now. They're telling me we're just about to go to another little tidbit from the Kennedy program, but remember, you can get your very own copy of this dynamic documentary at the $150 level, the program tonight, or the complete Kennedy package at the $240 level. We will still be here. The number will still be up on your screen. Please call with your pledge now.
The inauguration of John F. Kennedy had been the culmination of a relentless drive for power, begun by his father, Joseph Kennedy, more than 3 decades earlier. As the Kennedy presidency entered its second year, Joseph Kennedy was no longer the force he once had been, paralyzed by a stroke. But his youngest son, Ted, was poised to run for the Senate. And his son, Robert, was Attorney General and the president's closest advisor. John Kennedy had been elected by the narrowest popular margin in history, and many Americans were still skeptical of the Kennedys' wealth and dynastic ambition. But the Kennedy style dazzled much of the country.
Again, a reminder of the program, The Kennedys, that was on yesterday afternoon, is part of that thank you gift package we have tonight at the $240 membership level, so that you get a little idea of what that program is involved with. It is equally as revealing and in-depth and wonderful as Behind the Myth that you just saw tonight. Now, we've got about 3 phones vacant right now, so again, if you've got a busy signal, now's the time to go to that phone, folks, and hopefully you'll be able to get through with us here. We've got a few minutes before we go to the next program that deals with John F. Kennedy and his legacy from an entirely different perspective, a perspective that we have kind of lost sight of through the years, because it was his legacy and persona are so wrapped up in the assassination and the Bay of Pigs incident, you know, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and so on and so forth. So you're going to want to stay tuned to that, because he was really quite a visionary in setting into motion so many different things that when I saw the program, I had completely forgotten about. And I grew up during that period of time. In fact, was in the Navy when the Cuban Missile Crisis hit. And trust me, we were a little bit worried at that time, if you remember back to those days. 845-2200, 1-800-727-1017. Those are the phone numbers to call right now to support the public television station that brought you this program. You know, during this documentary on Jackie, you heard it talked about her belief in the arts. Belief in the arts and her efforts to create a national center for the arts, which later became the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. Her belief in how we as a nation and as a world can only grow if we have culture in our lives. And in this day and age, when culture seems to be the thing that is attacked because we don't want to spend money on anything other than say things like defense and building roads and collecting garbage and those kinds of things, when the easiest thing to attack in our society is the arts. Isn't it time that you step to the plate right now and supported the public television station that does so much to bring you the arts 365 days a year? What other television service brings you the Metropolitan Opera Presents? What other television service brings you Live from Lincoln Center? What other television service brings you great dramas like what you see on Masterpiece Theater and Mystery? What other television service provides you the how-tos that are so popular here in terms of our cooking and like This Old House and Home Time and so on? What other television service brings you in-depth news like you don't get anywhere else from any commercial entity. No, they all live and reside here on your public television station, WNED. And the reason for that is due to membership support, because without you, as a member of WNED, none of this would be possible. You are fulfilling Jackie Kennedy Onassis's dream in support of the arts with your membership pledge. Now, if you're not a member of WNED, why don't you go to their phone right now and dial 845-2200 or 1-800-727-1017 and show that you care about the arts coming into your home. Eileen?
And I know that you do care very much about the arts, and I tell you, a lot of people do so much that they have already gone to the telephone. Out of our goal of 130, now we're just about 65 calls away from making that goal tonight, so we need to have another solid round on the telephones, and I hope that you will be one of the special people who are willing to step forward as an individual and, yes, finally make that pledge to your public television station, because I know you've thought about it many times. Please help us this evening around a very, very beautiful program, a fitting tribute to a remarkable woman. I also applaud her supporting the arts, but I also admire her as a mother, how she raised two beautiful children and how she tried to certainly have them live as normal a life as possible, living in a fishbowl, so to speak. And she truly was dedicated to raising them as best she could. And of course, they were very accomplished in their own right. This was a remarkable woman. She went through more than most of us will, and certainly most people probably would have broken after so many tragedies and so forth, but she went on to accomplish many good works and again gained respect and was loved around the world. Help us please this evening as a tribute to her work and certainly to quality. Help us this evening with your pledge of support by going to the telephone. Again, this program, which included many rare pieces of footage, is available as a video. Your thank you gift, it could be at the $150 level or the complete package at the $240 level. We'll still be here. Here's a little look again at the Kennedy program, but we'll still be here in the studio. Please call.
On Sunday, November 24th, the Kennedy family accompanied John Kennedy from the White House for the last time. For the next 18 hours, the flag-draped casket would lie in state in the Capitol Rotunda, awaiting Monday's funeral. These arrangements had been made within hours of the assassination under Mrs. Kennedy's supervision.
On the evening of the assassination, Jacqueline Kennedy sent White House aides to the Library of Congress, which by then was closed and dark. They had to go through the stacks of books with flashlights, looking for books that would show how the nation had observed the death of Abraham Lincoln. The funeral of John Kennedy was modeled on the funeral of Lincoln. The lying in state in the East Room, the movement of the coffin on a caisson down Pennsylvania Avenue.
The tragedies.
They just kept happening.
And what a remarkable, I don't even know the right word. I mean, really, I mean, her strength, her courage,
Exactly.
to carry through all of those times, and we were with her at every point during all of that. A remarkable lady.
That's true. I think no matter what your background, what your political beliefs, your heart had to cry for what this family has endured and what she had to endure in her lifetime, and yet she did find the courage to carry on, and certainly leaves a very lovely legacy. And it can't be forgotten. And I think this program really hit the right tone this evening.
Very, very much so. And obviously, from the response that we've had tonight, Eileen, a lot of people have thought so as well. Now, Dorothy, pardon me one second, a little bit.
Just
that
a little
was
bit of
63 that we've gotten so far. So we're just about halfway. Actually, we're about halfway towards our goal of 130.
130.
So now, most of the phones are free right now. So if you had a busy signal when you called in, now's the time to do it, because we're only going to take about 2 more minutes before we go to the next program about John Kennedy. And the phone volunteers will be here just as long as it takes to take your call as the newest member of WNED.
So if you've sort of been on the edge, and if you've been thinking, well, gee, should I get a copy or not, I think it really would be a wonderful addition to your library, certainly to perhaps show to children and grandchildren, because her life was a reflection of the history of this country.
Oh, yeah, and what an incredible thing to share.
It really would be.
Because there's so many personal moments in here, and the footage that we've seen tonight has never, so much of it has never been seen before. And it really gets into I loved it when JFK was down. He was trying to get the sugar out for the horse. At the
right, and the horse sort of nudging him. And 3 weeks before that fateful day.
Yes, it's true. And it really brings home the humanity of what we're talking about here, because so oftentimes our political figures and so on end up being up on a silver pedestal, or
exactly.
That they're not real people. And what an incredible program to talk about them as real people who live just the way we do.
That's right. And again, this is last call, friends. This is your last opportunity tonight, because this is our last membership opportunity. So please make the right decision, and please call us with your pledge of support. And remember, you can get your very own personal copy of this video at the $150 level. The $240 level brings you not just tonight's program, but also a remarkable program in itself that we had on the Kennedys last night. It's a 2-video package, all 3 together for that $240 pledge. And Ron, I was seeing a lot of pledges at that level.
Yes.
People really fascinated by this family that was really revered around the world. They had their flaws, as we all do, certainly, and we know that. But again, a lot to be admired and respected.
Okay, now we want to thank the folks from Delta Sigma Pi who were here tonight answering the phones.
Thank you very much.
They did an outstanding job for us this evening. And we also want to thank High Grade Distributors for helping to feed them. They provided the utensils.
This is important.
And there's one other group we want to thank tonight, and then we're going to go to the program on John Fitzgerald Kennedy, and that is Pranzo's Restaurante. Okay. So we want to thank you for calling in with your membership support. Again, we have some phone volunteers available right now, so go to your phone and dial 845-2200 or 1-800-727-1017. Now, let's go to John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank Pranzo Ristorante for donating the food for tonight's WNED volunteers. Pranzo Ristorante, serving Italian cuisine in the Radisson Hotel and Suites near the Buffalo Airport. For more information, call 716-634-2300.